Yeah. Better days, I pray for better days. Working hard cause I want extra pay. Talk to them seeds, but you must demonstrate. Cause it's your ways that they gon' imitate. Non-violent. Sometimes I wish I would've went to college. Frown proudly. Cause where I'm from, they hate you when you smiling. Your faith should be your gun. You can't leave home without it. The children being grown, cause all the parents acting childish. You show them your reality, I bet they doubt it. You tell them all about your dreams, that's when they out it. Your own blood, ain't no family no more. They do you badly for show. You try to patch up your soul, Lord knows you on a mission to show him you so submissive. The prayer said in silence, you know the devil can hear him, pay attention. Know the war's within, how much time do you spend? Try to balance your zen, then again, losses is lessons. You tell me you trying to win, we know about saving money. You tell me you trying to spend that blood on it. Sweat, tears, you put that love on it. Your best years was just a dumb moment. You tired of going hungry, can't deal with fake making your life lonely. Your lack of faith that left your soul boning. But you gon' work and you gon' strive, do what it takes to survive. What is truth, what is a lie? You know that war's inside. Some get draped into the fake, they don't know what to decide. Wrong choice, meet your demise, keep that between you and I. You realize, some people you gon' let go, you visualize. The things you need to feed your soul is on the rise. They not gon' wanna let you go, but it's alright. It's cool to bury what's gon' grow. Went from wrong to the right and to the dark to the light. It was a hell of a fight. You give it all your might. Gotta hold on tight and you stay strong and precise. You fight the war that's inside, cause it might change your life. From wrong to the right and to the dark from the light. It was a hell of a fight. You give it all your might. You just hold on tight and you stay strong and precise. You fight the war that's inside, cause it might change your life. I ain't the person that I used to be. So what I do today ain't things that you used to see. Stay the same, no, things change usually. Some folk I may know might get reintroduced to me. Yeah, I ain't the person that I used to be. So what I do today ain't things that you used to see. Stay the same, no, things change usually. Some folk I may know might get reintroduced to me.
Yeah. Don't be stressing on the dumb shit, cause God is gonna make a way. Just keep going and keep your faith, so you can win this race. This race called life, yeah, yeah. This race called life. This race called life, yeah, yeah. Race called life. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm grinding 'cause I know that I'm gon' get it. I just gotta have vision, keep faith and be humble. Have some patience with it. I've been A1 since day one, been always on my job. I never been a fake, never had to steal and rob. Cause I do good business, I'm too good with it. And even though I'm on this road, I'm still daddy to my children. You know I do good with them, and don't like being missing. But I hate when my bills are thicker and my pockets get thinner. But I can't stress upon the dumb shit, cause God is gonna make a way. I keep going and keep my faith in my pace, so I can win this race. Win this race called life. This race called life. I'm just trying to win this race called life. This race called life. This race called life, yeah. Race called life. I'm just trying to win this race called life, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I keep on running in this race called life. gotta win this race called life. This race called life. Girl, I just gotta win this race called life.
We are in here.
This race called life. Just gotta win this race called life.
Another day, another beautiful day. What a time to be alive, right? Welcome back to the platform where arguments are tested, claims are weighed, and decisions actually mean something. This is Coliseum of Arguments, Titans Debate League, and tonight we're doing something special. This isn't a debate. This is a conversation with the minds behind the decisions. Joining me are two judges who've spent real time in the trenches of this league, iLL Doc and Chef Darius. These are voices you've heard render verdicts, break down performances, and hold debaters to a standard. But tonight, we're pulling back the curtain. We're talking about their path, how they got into debating and judging, what sharpened their perspectives, and what prepared them to sit in one of the most critical seats in the league. We're also reflecting on their time right here in the debate league, the battles they've witnessed, the moments that stood out, the growth they've seen, and what separates a good debater from a great one in their eyes. This is about experience, standards, and what it really takes to earn a judge's respect. So tap in, lean in, and get ready because tonight the judges aren't judging. Well, they already did that a little earlier, but they're telling their story and they're giving you guys some insight into what they're looking for. Shout out to you two, Chef Darius and iLL Doc. How you two feeling today?
I'm good, brother. I'm happy to be here.
Hey, let's give these two gentlemen a round of applause. How you feeling, Chef Darius?
Good beer.
Hey, that's what's up. And if you guys have any questions or comments in the chat, well, mostly questions. If you have any questions, go ahead, drop them in the chat, and I'll pull them up, and we'll get to them for sure. We'll start with the first softball question right here. We're going to get straight into it. And I'll post the questions on the screen so you can read them as well. What qualifications or experience do you believe makes someone a good debate judge? We'll start with you on this one, Chef Darius.
What qualifications or experience? Qualifications, I'd say at least to be knowledgeable in the subject at hand. Experience, just to have enough experience to do your own research and study, and just to be open-minded and be willing to learn. I think that is the biggest one, is not having any biases based off what you already know or think you know, and to be open to hearing both sides out of the argument. I think that's the biggest one, being non-biased. As far as qualifications, though, I don't know what degrees one may need to be a good judge, because I think judging is just a matter of observing and having good perception of what you're observing. So as far as degrees or any qualifications of that matter, I don't think that really matters. But if you are degreed and you have some knowledge in the different fields of studies, where if it's religious studies or science, I think that helps, because those are like a lot of the topics that the show started off on, but now we're heading towards more socio-economic. The debate we judge, for instance, I think you just got to be open-minded to hear both sides. You wouldn't need a qualification necessarily to be a good judge for that. You just would have to know how to research on your own and come to conclusions based off the facts and evidence that they both presented.
And again here, we don't render verdicts right after the debate. We let these judges sleep on this. Sometimes they need to do a fact check. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that point right there. Same question to you, iLL Doc. What qualifications or experience do you believe makes someone a good debate judge?
I've had a lot of arguments, man. Uh, I think the most important thing is he brought up about having bias. Uh, it's most important not to be biased, and and to be able to achieve like a state of unbiased, even if it means that you're gonna decide against someone that you agree with morally.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always a lot of tension, because what I think about in that case is I agree with this person, but I can't take that into consideration. But I also don't want to penalize them for saying something that I agree with just because I want to be unbiased. So you have to come up with a procedure prior to judging, that you can just run everything through. So I'm willing to do that. So that's a quality that I have. I'm willing to do that work behind the scenes so that I can produce as close to a fair judgment as is humanly possible. And I'm interested in collecting ideas that, they say two heads are better than one. There's a lot of people that are out there debating. And as I evaluate their arguments, I'm learning too. And so there's if there are two debaters and then there's my brain, that's three brains that's collecting information. I think I have a knack for recognizing patterns and holding them in my mind visually, so I can listen to someone debate, and I'll get triggered if I feel that there's something not right with what they just said. Maybe they said something different earlier. So those three things, I think, put me in a position to be a good judge.
Just to piggyback off what he said, I think he's right about the process. You do got to have a process to put yourself in a state of mind. And A1, you know how I am. I'm like the king of being a devil's advocate. So that's kind of my process, is I got to be devil's advocate and be able to take my mind out of anything I might already agree with or disagree with beforehand going into the debate. Don't know if he's there.
Yeah, he's going to be muted.
Thank you for catching that. Shout out Big Hemi in the chat. I think you were a judge on his debate in round 1 versus Ison. I don't remember what your verdict was on that. I don't know if Hemi's got time to check that out. If you do have any questions for any of these two judges, Hemi, go ahead and drop them in the chat. You know what? I'll drop that link so that way you can pull up and ask yourself. And I'll get straight to the next question. When you're judging, what matters more to you? Facts, logic, or delivery, and why? And we'll start with you, iLL Doc, on this one.
What are my choices? Facts, logic, or
delivery, and why?
Well, I'm going to tell you, delivery is going to be last. It's important, but it's performative, and it doesn't really get at it. It doesn't get to the bottom of what we're talking about. But the person that can deliver, if everything else is equal, facts and logic, the person that delivers it better is probably going to have an edge. So it does matter, but with comparing these three, that's going to be last. And then I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the first thing that matters to me is the logic and reasoning in an argument, and facts come second. There's a way that you can argue in a debate, and this is where fallacies and and strategy emerges. There's a way to argue in a debate that you're wrong, but you still win the debate because your reasoning is correct. And that sometimes put what is factual in a back seat. And sometimes the debaters don't have access to all the facts. I mean, if I went to the encyclopedia and tried to
Rewind time. Say that again for the people in the back.
which part, brother?
The beginning of the phrase where you were talking about the debaters may not have access to all of that.
While the debaters are debating, I mean, I know they have preparation time, but sometimes they don't have access to all the facts. All they have access to is their reasoning that goes where they go. And they can put together ideas and it makes sense. And so if I'm evaluating whether they made sense, then they were able to build a pathway from point A to point B, and point B being the resolution or their burden in the resolution. If I went to judge, is this factually accurate for every single thing that was subject to being checked in that way, I would never get to a judgment. And that's what we're really doing here. So a lot of people believe that logic is, I'm thinking about it rather than I'm emotional about it, but that's not what logic is. Logic is a process of thinking. It's a systematic process. Well, those are the same words. But it's a way to think about things, to eliminate thinking errors. And that's what we're practicing when we debate. How can we think about this thing and eliminate errors in the way that in the procedure of thinking? And so I look at that first, like, is their thinking good? Is their reasoning good? And what is the trajectory or pathway that they're leading me down? And what's at the end of it? Like, have they maintained that pathway? Have they built an alternative pathway? Is there a pathway adjacent to it? I don't really care at this point if they're factually accurate. Is it coherent?
I like that answer. Big Hemi 713 likes it too. He's a debater in a tournament. You will be judging him in round 2 coming up. Same question to you, Chef Darius. When you're judging, what matters more to you? Facts, logic, or delivery, and why?
So I'm a kind of agree. I think the facts of the matter really don't matter if you can deliver it in a way that it makes sense logically. So he picked delivery last. I might have to go with delivery first, because I done seen some people deliver some lies in a way to where it can make their argument. So there you go, a well-organized lie. Yeah, so religion debates, for instance, because with those you're dealing with a lot of miracles and things of that you can't factually prove these things. So a lot of that is going to be based off your ability to reason and make sense of a lie, if you will, or mythology. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with delivery. Yeah, if you could deliver that lie in a way to make it believable, you might be able to pull out a debate. So it ain't always
sorry.
The facts matter. The facts matter when we're trying to learn, but when you're trying to win, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I want to. Something that occurred to me while Chef was talking. A lot of times when we debate, there aren't that many facts involved. We're trying to convince people and persuade people to agree with us, and that's the point of rhetoric. It's the point of debate. I'm trying to convince you that how I think about something is how you should think about it too. That doesn't always require facts. And the topic he brought up was religion. There are ideas, like theories that we can throw out there. If this, then that, conditional statements. Those don't require facts for you to say.
Amazing example. Let's get to that next one. Okay, what's the next one over here? Let me post this one in the chat as well. How do you personally define a win in a debate? I know all of the contestants in the tournament are going to be all ears on this question right here. And we'll start with you, Chef Darius, on this one. How do you personally define a win in a debate?
How do I personally define a win? I think with the way we have a scorecard, it's kind of straightforward, but I would say to get your presentation across in a clear and concise manner all the way up until your questioning. And in that questioning and answer round, I think is where I would say I can define the win personally, because it's more, I get more of a back and forth between people. So the scorecard for me, but it's also that question and answer around that is the icing on the cake. Some debates I've judged, it was clearly won in the presentation round. But for instance, this last one, I think when it got to the question and answering, that's where it was crunch time, and that crunch time matters. So getting your presentation off and also being able to kind of get over your opponent in the question and answer round, that will give you the win for me. But I think with the scorecard, it's pretty straightforward though.
I am very happy that I did a scorecard. I haven't seen that done by anybody else. So
yeah, because without a scorecard, I would have to say like being able to go back and forth with your opponent and like catching them in real time and be able to rebut in real time. I get a better eye gauge of who's really winning. But how you do it with the scorecard, it just makes it easier. I think it makes it a clear winner.
Appreciate that. Same question for you, iLL Dot. How do you personally define a win in a debate? Are you there, iLL Dot?
All right, mic check.
Mike's good.
Yeah, so that's my answer. I'm just kidding.
You silly.
I think it's going to change every debate because the resolution changes every debate. But if I zoomed out enough to capture something that's unique for me, well, to capture something that's for me, then it's going to be whoever. Let's see how I can say this. Whoever meets or satisfies their burden as it's imposed on them by the resolution, and the other side fails to meet their burden. And so I think about that for these debates that I've judged. Before I do anything, I write, not always, but I've written out a burden structure. What do each person need to do in order to win? And I've mentioned them in my summary. Like, this is what I'm looking for. So it changes, for the resolution. But the main idea that carries, that I think would answer the question, is whoever satisfies their burden for the resolution, and that's important. Like, you can have a great argument, you can have all the facts, but did you connect it to the resolution the way that you were obliged to do? If you don't, then you didn't do your job. You're muted again, brother.
I agree. Couldn't have said it better myself. I definitely agree with both of you gentlemen. Next question. Do you score debates more on persuasion or accuracy? We'll start with you, Ildot.
I don't think I take persuasion in the way that I think you mean it now. I don't take it into account when I go to the scorecard, because the scorecard has categories that really capture all the important things that happen in the debate. It's a really good scorecard.
Thank you very much.
Um,
Shout
I
out Lincoln
think-
Douglas, though. I really just copied it from them and made a few slight changes. But it's essentially the Lincoln Douglas scoring system.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Repeat for me what the second question is. It's a persuasion or what?
Or accuracy.
If by accuracy you mean how accurate they are to logic, yes. If how accurate they are to facts, that matters a little bit.
Explain if you can.
Well, because someone could be exploring an idea that isn't established as a fact, and if they explore it, if it's wrapped in a conditional argument, if this is the case, then this would happen. Then they're exploring a theoretical or hypothetical theory. You know, for instance, in the most recent debate, it's not a fact that the FOP was disbanded, but the affirmative still had the burden of explaining how that would unfold. And so it's more important to me that the feasibility in that example was articulated rather than facts, which are already known to be the case. So they're already talking about something that's not known to be the case. So if when I say accurate and close to logic, to the process of thinking, like that matters a lot, much more than just adhering to what is the case now or what's known to be the case. The whole process of thinking and how one thing necessarily. Here's what I think about: is the debater forcing me with his words to a certain conclusion? And if that's the case, then you know I'll look back and try to evaluate the structure of his argument. But that's really, I think, the goal. Do I arrive at the same conclusion he arrives at by force, by intellectual force, by textual force, because of the argument that I've listened to him say? And that has to do more with the logic in his argumentation than it does with facts.
My apologies, I dropped off for a second. I'm back. Everything's still going?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay, my apologies. I have this new mouse and there's this little button on the side and it takes me back a screen. And I keep hitting it with my thumb. Just got it 2 days ago. I think I've done that about 10 times live since. Sorry about that. When I came back, there was nobody talking. Did you finish your answer?
Yeah, I finished right after you dropped off. All I did was I said the same thing again.
Gotcha. And
Essentially, that the logic means more to me. I hear an echo. Is that me?
No, I don't hear it.
Okay. The logic means more to me than whether or not it's factually accurate. I'd rather them work with good logic.
I like
and
that.
then I can evaluate wherever it's important that something be factually accurate. Sometimes it's not important.
Yeah.
But certainly accuracy, persuasion, not so much. For me as a judge, persuasion is secondary to how good is your reasoning.
Appreciate that answer. Appreciate that. Same question for you, Chef Darius. Do you score debates more on persuasion or accuracy?
Scoring wise, they both do matter. But as far as persuasion, especially if you're able to persuade your opponent, like get them to concede in any way, shape, or form, I think that's a big score. That's a big point. Like that's an automatic. You know what I'm saying? So, and I've seen that in a couple debates already. So, yeah, I would have to agree and say persuade. I would score debates more on persuasion. They do both matter. So, the facts, of course, and how accurate you are to your presentation and the facts of whatever y'all are debating, but if you're able to persuade your opponent or make them concede or in the questioning round, I say that's big. That's more of a factor than the accuracy. Because, like I said, you don't necessarily have to have facts in a lot of these debates because they are opinions. So just being able to have your opponent
I think we lost people, or either lost me.
Yeah, I think he cut out. I'm not sure if he's having technical difficulties, but I'm gonna go ahead and go to that next question. And here it goes. How much weight do you give to sources and scholarship compared to raw argumentation? We'll start with you, Eldot. Can you hear me, Eldot?
Yeah, I'm still here, brother. I'm trying to smash these Skittles.
Well, take your time. Take your time.
If you say something that you think someone can call into question, you need to have a source. If you say something that someone else told you, you should cite where it came from. I consider that a huge deal. And that doesn't happen a lot in debates because there's a lot of these debates, they come together out of discussions that people have in back chats. So there's a lot of things that are assumed the other person already knows. But I would like that there be more cited sources. And
Skittles got it.
No, I'm trying to think about what my position on scholarship or how to take what you meant by that. If by that you meant deferring to experts in fields, is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I consider that a big deal too, but you can't just appeal to authority or you know William Lane Craig said this, so that's what I'm saying, because then you become a parrot. So it really depends on how you integrate it into your argument. There are some people who are scholars, but maybe just because they're an expert in the field, what they have to say doesn't really land the way you want to. I would say use it anyway. If it's something that you got from another source, if it's something that you got from a scholar, use it, and I'm likely to give it leverage because you as a debater are you're a funnel for different sources. Your job is to collect separate information out there and put it together in a way that I can digest it. And if one of those sources is a scholar, you definitely use it. So I would say heavyweight. At the same time, your argumentation has to make sense. You can't just cite a lot. We saw that recently. Have a lot of sources and have a lot of material, but you have to structure it in a way that it makes sense and it gets to the point B that you tell me that you're going to get to. That matters too, and it can go sideways. For example, you can have great argumentation, you can have great evidence and cited sources, but then you can, make a blunder in one of the later rounds and you don't have time to clean it up. So,
Definitely.
your performance matters too. But if it's between argumentation and sources and scholarship, I'm going to say that they're both heavy. I don't know if I can pick one or the other. I would like to see more of both, reference to scholarships. If you use it, if you got it from a scholar, if a scholar is going to give you credibility by referring to them, do it. If you got information from somewhere, tell me where you got it. And I mean, it's not going to hurt your argument.
Definitely. So, to the debaters out there, he's saying he wants to see you citing more of the sources you're using, even if it's just a page number out the Bible. Cite those sources, because if we were in any other academic setting, you wouldn't submit anything without your stuff cited. So, let's try to step it up to the people out there, and I'm going to remind the judges about that too the next debate before they go in. So we'll be looking for more of that. Appreciate you, debaters, and you judges as well. Next question. Oh, well, actually, for Chef Darius, sorry about that.
Yeah.
How much? Oh, go ahead. You can see it.
Yeah, I agree. I think they both matter, but I do think there is a process. Throughout your presentation, you should rely more on the sources and scholarship. And then once you get into the question round, that's when like your raw argumentation skills come into play. And then you can cite your sources and everything that you use throughout your debate presentation. So I agree with them. But the sources matter. Like, so especially with how you got the round formatted, you have most of the debate being them doing their presentations. So I would say the sources matter more than raw argumentation, because you only get the short time to go back and forth with each other.
And I am going to make some slight adjustments for round 2 going forward. We're going to have debaters submit their premise, so there won't be any arguing past each other. We'll make sure both people are on topic. No semantics will be played. We're trying to, what's the word I'm looking for here? We're trying to, I don't think increase is the right word, but increase the quality of these debates. Give me a word instead of increase. I don't like that. But yeah, we're trying to make the quality of these debates better for the viewer, for the people who are actually debating, and for the judges at home who have to sit and go through these things. So yeah, be looking for that to happen round 2 and moving forward. Next question. Were you finished with your answer, or did I cut you off, Chef?
No, you good.
Okay. Next question. How much weight? Just asked that one. What's the biggest mistake debaters make that cost them points? Let me post that in the chat right now. And we'll start with you, Chef D.
Oof. I think I said it already. The one for me is conceding. Like, once you concede in any way, shape, or form, and for me, conceding is like running away from an answer. Even like if somebody asks you something, at least answer it. Go ahead.
I know that for a fact about you, because many people may not know Chef Darius is my homie in real life. So I remember like 5 or 6 years ago, like us talking about debates that we were watching on some platforms back then. I remember talking about Shaka and saying he's one of my favorite debaters. And you said you said this. You said he would be your favorite debater at that time. But he's too genuine and he concedes.
Yeah, like, don't be concede. I don't care if a dude right. Don't let him know he right.
Don't let him know he right.
Yeah, don't let him know he right. So, especially in a debate setting. Now, if y'all just building and going back and forth, that's the respectable and fair thing to do. But in a debate setting, nah, don't do that. Like,
you gotta have a spin move for everything.
You gotta spin, you gotta counter, you gotta do something. Just don't take it. So for me, conceding would be the biggest mistake debaters make that cost them points?
And I have somebody coming up. His name is Jesse Valdez. I say that he's got a verse for every bump on your face, because no matter what you come up with, he gonna spin around and say,
Yep.
"Let me read you this verse out of the Quran." So be looking for some debates from him coming up. So I'm looking to make him a tight and heavy hitter over here, man. So yeah, because he never concedes. He's got a verse for everything. Same question for you, iLL Doc. What's the biggest mistake debaters make that costs them points on your scorecard? Take your time.
Might be muted.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I mute. I'm sorry, I mute up when Chef's talking. I'm with Chef. Concession has to come off your menu, and that puts you in a position where you have to. Okay, so you have to pay attention to where you're at, and that means paying attention to what the other person is doing. What are they building? What's the trajectory of their argument? So if they're building something and you haven't been paying attention to it, what may seem like a harmless question during the Q&A round could cost you everything, because you don't know the relevance of the question. And if you pay attention to them and you know that this is a decisive question, but it might be don't say, I see what you're saying, but don't even, because of the other person's personality or because of tension and stress, you might be motivated to drift a little bit into a more friendly conversation. Don't do that. This is a competitive, adversarial event, and you cannot give up ground for any reason. That means that sometimes you have to answer questions or do things strategically that were audible, but just don't commit fallacies next. In order to avoid conceding, it's not a good idea to commit a fallacy, but it is a good idea to do some mumble jumble type rhetoric stuff to get yourself out of a tight spot. That definitely comes before conceding the argument, because at that point the debate is over.
Damn. Mumbo, I know exactly what you mean by mumbo jumbo rhetoric, because I hear it every day. I'm just not good at it yet, I like sticking to what's factual, what I can prove.
Yeah.
So I haven't mastered the art of the mumbo jumbo. Coming soon. I will be working on that. I heard that loud and clear, iLL Doc. Thank you for that advice.
I want to say there's another alternative too, where you can feign concession in order to introduce an alternative. So you might give a little ground in order to say, here's how that plays out. If I agree with you, and let's say I do, here's how that play out, and then you play out and lead them to disaster. So there's a way that you incorporate conceding in order to show people who are listening that line of argument, it goes nowhere, but it's trash. And then you have to remember what your line of argument was in the first place and get back to it.
Okay. Amazing answer once again. I definitely learned something I can utilize from those answers from both of you gentlemen. Next question. Have you ever changed your mind mid-debate because one side made a powerful argument? And we'll start with you on this one, iLL Doc.
Yeah, I have.
Talk to me.
There's sometimes I don't decide. Like I've tried listening to opening statements from both sides. I've tried to listen to just the affirmative going all the way through. My favorite way of doing it is just listening to the opening statements and then round by round until I understand the round, like what's happening in the round. And sometimes there was a debate, I won't say which one, but I was really
Oh
stable.
no! Don't do me like that. I want to know. I want to know. The people want to know which one.
It is the one that we just judged.
Okay, talk to us. Tell us what happened.
Yeah.
Man. What's the details?
Pan, he asserted an individual accountability level theory along with reform, and it was stable, but it wasn't strong, not at that point. And the affirmative moral argument was strong, and it even gotten stronger as a basis for justification. You have to be justified in doing something that calls on an obligation. So he established that really strong, and I began to favor it. When he changed his language, so Pan won that clash because he was able to get that stable theory. It's a very stable theory. Not to the end of the debate, but the fact that it existed at all as an alternative and it went unaddressed was concerning, or it should have been concerning to Anu, and he didn't address it. And before he got around to addressing it, he started changing his language to invoke like moral sensationalism and individual accountability statements like they give them impunity to murder our children, creates a barrier between the FOP and the police officers, and it also inverts morality, like the hierarchy of morality. Now, everything is not equally evil. And so murdering children is more evil than protecting child murderers. But he was treating it as though the child murderers were less evil than the people protecting them. And so, I mean, that's what his argument is. Go after the FOP. They're protecting child murderers. And he didn't explain why we should look over the ones who were actually murdering the children. And then it came back, Pan started reasserting the problem lies in the individuals. And it started becoming more and more clear that this just wasn't merely a stable theory, that this was something that Anu had to deal with. And if he didn't deal with it, it wasn't going to turn out good. Fortunately, I never had to weigh that because I think that Anu defeated the whole debate in the question and answer round.
And same question for you, Chef Darius. Have you ever changed your mind mid-debate because one side made a powerful argument?
Yeah, because I look at it like, let's use metaphor, boxing or any fighting event. One round somebody might be getting over, in the next round somebody might land a knockout, and I think we'll use this debate then since we going there. For me, I think Anu had him with the fraternal order of teachers not actually being part of the topic. At some point he was fighting against that, and I do think it was relevant, but it didn't, from Anu's perspective, he really didn't have to entertain that, and he wasn't at first. But Pan kept jabbing at him with it and throwing it in there, and he went for it. It's like in MMA, for instance, you don't want to go to the ground. Like Anu should have kept standing up and fighting, throwing punches, kicks, but he got him to go to the ground. And the fraternal order of the teachers and bringing that concept along in and showing how that can affect us too, like, that was a good point. But Anu didn't have to go there, and he went there, and I think that might have swayed me one round. And then the question and answering. So yeah, I would say my mind changes from round to round. But I think that that's the case with a format like this. It should be that way.
Amazing answer. Again, another amazing answer. You guys are going to make me replay that debate tonight.
It's a good debate, man. It really is.
It really was. Half of it, I was, working the board. So I am going to go ahead and get another bite of that after getting your responses on these questions. Try to see what I missed, Next question, and we'll start with you, Chef Darius, on this one. Have you, I posted the same question. I didn't copy and paste. How do you guard against personal bias when judging controversial or emotional topics?
For me, it's easy because I'm just a naturally devil's advocate person, so I could just put myself in the other perspective whenever I need to. And I think that's why I felt like it would be better for me to judge initially, because I was going to be a debater, but I know how my mind works, and I was like, I can argue anything and argue any stance and see both sides of anything. So my mind probably will be better to judge these debates and these battles. So
yeah, when I was looking for that judge, you were the first one I thought about. I'm like, yeah, we gotta do this, man.
Yeah,
we may get you in the ring one day over here, but right now, yeah, I know you are the best at playing devil's advocate. I'll bring you something and you'll make me start feeling for the other person. I'm like, man, what the heck? Like how? Yeah, you're good at that.
And I feel like that's the best way to gauge your own personal feelings and interest in whatever subject it is to get all perspectives of it first. So that's how I think I guard against it, is just trying to play devil's advocate when I am judging, as opposed to being too open-minded into hearing, because I might already feel a certain type of way about a subject. So if I'm just listening to hear what I want to hear and what I think is true about the subject, then I feel like that's going to lead me to be biased. So I just don't put myself in that position from the jump.
I like it.
Basically, you got to prove me wrong. Like, you got to prove yourself right. I ain't just going to go in thinking, all right, I believe this subject or I agree with this subject. Devil's advocate.
Gotcha. Big Hemi says understanding without agreeing. Same question for you, ill Dot. How do you guard against personal bias when judging controversial or emotional topics?
There's always, the first part is understanding that it's emotional. That this is upcoming. This is one of those debates. That's the first part. There are actually mechanisms throughout the whole debate. The most general one is, look, I'm doing a judge's job. That means I have to rely heavily on procedure and keep my emotions out of it. And then I'll for the last two debates, I've written down, before I even listen to the debate, what I think, based on the resolution, I should be looking for. And then I'll listen to it several times. When I get to something that I identify as an argument or an assertion, I'll stop and I'll argue that with that debater. There was a BJJ Nogueira on Joe Rogan one time, and he said, this is what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is. You do this and I do that. Then you do this and I do that forever. That's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And when I stop to argue, in my mind with that debater, his assertion is this, and then I'll argue back, and then he'll reply the best possible thing I can think of, and then I'll reply to that. And we'll go forever until somebody wins. And then I'll pick up the pieces and go back to the actual debate. And when I do that, by the time I'm through the opening statement, like, there's no more emotions. I'm really enjoying this. This is an intellectual thing now. And even though the topic is emotional, that process has eliminated my emotional investment in it. And when I'm done, and I've taken notes, and I've taken notes on the possible arguments, and I'll see how have I put like embedded emotion in here at all. And I'll just, I've got for this recent debate, I've got whole paragraphs that I've written down that are scratched out. Like, no, that's emotional. Let me go back and see what's going on. And I'll keep double checking when I'm editing my script, when I'm thinking about particular things. Even there were times when I go, wait a minute. He said, murder your children. Like, does that matter? And I'll think about that. Like, is that highlighted to me because it's emotionally charged, or does it have any intellectual weight? And so I'll decide on the spot, like how heavy emotionally or intellectually certain things are. And when I'm doing that, I review myself. Am I emotionally charged by it? So it's a constant audit. And it's part of the procedure to keep auditing myself throughout the debate. I don't know another method to do it that doesn't require me to constantly audit where I'm at.
I like that answer. That's deep. Definitely a lot deeper than I thought. I like the process that you have, and we definitely love your judgments or how you render them and the detail that you go into. Next question, and we'll start with you on this one, Ildot. What should debaters know about your judging style before stepping on the stage?
I'm going to try to sterilize. This goes to the last question too. I'm going to try and sterilize flashy words, emotion, rhetoric. I only want the argument, and I want to visualize the structure of the argument. And there are different structures that arguments can take. But if you're going to build an argument and you don't, the structure of your argument is a map for anyone that wants to follow along. And I need to be able to track you in that argument. If you haven't given any thought to how this thing leads to that thing, and then that thing leads to another thing, how A, B, and C conclude with X, Y, and Z. If you haven't given any thought to that, you're going to get lost in your own argument. I'm going to get lost with you, and I'll make note of it. So the biggest thing is, alongside of everything else we said today, structure your argument in a way that it can be visualized and it's easy to track you. Because there's a point where you're going to need to step off that pathway and say something and then come back to it, especially in the question and answer round. So I want them to know that I'm paying attention. I'm trying to build a structure and write down their argument. I'm not writing it down verbatim. I'm writing it down conceptually. Like, what are you arguing right now? Is it inside the argument? Is it covered by the resolution? Is it outside the argument? If it is, you have to bridge it back. And I'm not going to argue for you. You have to say it. So just have an idea of what the structure of your argument is.
Definitely. Good answer. Same question for you, Chef Darius. What should debaters know about your judging style before stepping on the stage?
My judging style is going to be based off what you have to show on the scorecard. So I'm going off the scorecard. I'm going off your ability to put on a show as well, your conduct. So I'm looking for those things. I think based off my scoring, you can see I'm not that harsh. I start you off, and then I'll deduce points based off your performance. So,
So you start everybody off with the 5, and then you start deducing.
basically, yeah. So that's more so my style as opposed to doing it the opposite way. I say that's the biggest things you should know.
Hey, I like that.
So kind of don't make mistakes. Conceding is big for me, so I'd rather you just argue your point as opposed to trying to build with your opponent, anything like that, because we ain't here to learn. We're here to win the debate. So I think those would be the key things to look out for when I'm judging your debate.
Yeah, okay. I like that. Everybody starts with the 5, and then he starts deducing. It's good to know. Good to know. Write that down, debaters. Okay, next question. Is there a difference between winning a debate and being right? And can you explain? We'll start with you, Chef D.
Yeah, I think there's a big difference in that. Because you can win the debate based off opinion and raw argumentation. I've seen people not have any sources and win debates. Maybe not in this setting. So yeah, there's a big difference in winning the debate and actually being right. And I feel like a lot of people are sore losers in these debate settings because they feel like they're actually right in their stance. But that don't matter if you can't beat your challenger in the debate setting. And the way to do that is not conceding, getting all your presentation across, question and answering around, making sure you answering everything. Like, it ain't hard. So don't make no mistakes, and you could win the debate. It ain't necessarily about being right all the time. So yeah, I think there's a big difference, and debaters really need to take that into consideration. Like, it ain't always about being right when you're going into these debates. It is, but it ain't.
I hear you. I hear you. Same question for you, Ildot. Is there a difference between winning a debate and being right? And can you explain?
Yeah, there is a difference. You can, I mean, there are a couple scenarios. You can be right and lose a debate. You can win the debate and be wrong. The holy grail is to be right and win the debate. And then you could be wrong and lose the debate.
Okay.
There's something, there are a lot of things that matter. Home field advantage. Maybe one debater who's wrong is arguing in front of people with whom he shares familiarity, and the other guy is a stranger. So who won that debate? The only people who get to talk about it is the crowd. And they're on that person's side. So they're going to relay that story. He won, but he was wrong. And then what do you do if you win that debate? If you're right and you like, how does winning that debate for the visiting team, what does that look like? If you're arguing or you're debating with someone that's in front of a home crowd or in front of friends, how do you win? Or who determines that you win? Remember that he's not going to concede because that's off the menu. But whether or not you're right isn't in anyone's hands. It's not in the, it's not determined by your performance. It's not determined by who's watching. It's determined by whether your position is aligned with reality. That's what determines if you're right. And that's really different. So, I absolutely agree. But I think the holy grail is to be right and to win the debate. That's the holy grail.
Hey. Big facts. Hold on one second. Where is this blank scorecard I'm trying to pull up? I dropped off for a second and everything reset on me. Wow. Did it somehow get deleted? Okay, that's okay. I'll go to this one then. We have this one. Okay. Same question for you, Chef Darius. Actually, I already asked you that question. My bad. We only have a few more left, and then we'll be out of here. Um, do you think debate spaces today prioritize entertainment over intellectual rigor? And we'll
Um,
start. Yeah, go ahead. We'll start with
oh,
you, Chef D.
I'm sorry. Uh, I think they prioritize entertainment. Um, and is and what we have with social media and the consumer, I think that makes sense. You can get intellectual rigor when you're doing presentations and you're just getting your own stuff off, and it's not a debate setting. The intellectual rigor does matter in the debate space, but I think what does get prioritized is the entertainment. In the entertainment, though, you do want to have intellectual rigor, so they both matter. Um, I don't want to say one is equal over the other. I like a good entertaining, respectful debate. So,
Can you give me an example of one you've seen that was both? Doesn't have to
and
be in this league, just any point in time, something that people can go look up or reference.
um, for instance, like a young Pharaoh when he was debating the rabbi or something. Know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
like, he tend to get comical and colorful, if you will, and his rhetoric may not be professional, but that's entertaining. And it can be disrespectful at times. Uh, that's entertaining. So I feel like debate spaces will go there, and that's to draw the audience and get in the algorithm. Like, I understand why they trying to get in the algorithm and get their followers and the likes up. So I get it.
And same question for you, Ildoc. Do you think debate spaces today prioritize entertainment over intellectual rigor?
I think entertainment's going to be first. I'm with Chef on that. And what I understand as intellectual rigor is something that is really new in the debate spaces that I like. New as in recent years, it's becoming more and more important as higher quality debaters get involved. And I'm not I'm not so much a fan of the entertainment for social media part of it. I am a fan of, as I mentioned with this debate, I am a fan of bravado and chest thumping. I do enjoy that, um, as long as it's handled in a respectful way. But I think uh, recently I was in a conversation with Honey Clark, and she was talking about Jesus, and she mentioned some potential alternatives about the birth of Jesus, and I was captured by those alternatives. It's like, oh, these are really creative ideas that I've never been exposed to, and that's the part that I really like about debaters, especially sophisticated, seasoned debaters. They have the intellectual courage to explore alternate explanations for things, and that's courage. So I'm pretty much outsourcing my intellectual courage. I can listen to a debater explore a domain and in a way that it never occurred to me to do. So the intellectual part is what captures me. I'm not so much a fan of the entertainment part, but I think that the debate spaces really are, they really do prioritize entertainment.
You definitely do.
One of the things I like about TDL, man, the debaters here, even in chat and back chat, these are really smart people.
Hey, appreciate you, and shout out to you for the compliment. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure the debaters appreciate it. You know, shout out to the Titans. And as we say around here, tighten up.
Yeah. One day I'm going to learn how to say prioritize correctly. I never get it right. Remember we were talking about pronouncing words?
Yeah.
I always get it wrong my whole life.
And I'm going to start with you on this next question, Ildot. What advice would you give to new debaters trying to impress judges?
Don't try to impress judges.
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
Same question for you, Chef Darius.
That's it. Don't try to impress us. Try to win the debate.
That's facts.
Try to win the debate.
2 more questions. Is there a debate you judged that really stuck with you, and why? And we'll start with you, Chef Darius.
I'd say this one because me and you was talking off screen. I told you I'm very knowledgeable in this. Like I did a whole dissertation on the slave patrol and how that led to the current police that we have now. So I was very interested to see the take Pan had because I didn't have bias, but I was just interested to see how he was going to be able to argue against disbanding that. And when I got about halfway through the second round, I seen his stance and I seen where he was going with it. So that stuck with me because I really have a lot of research and knowledge on this particular subject, and I never thought this would be a specific debate topic. Once you got these debates rolling, I thought it would be more religion based, but I'm loving the direction it's going and all these different topics we have now. So
hey, shout out to the debaters on that one. I am trying to get them to spread their wings and
this was a good
expand their horizons a little bit, you know. We need some new, fresh topics. It's been a lot of the same topics, same talking points. Yeah. You know, I'm not trying to force anything on anybody, but I am encouraging people to think outside the box a little bit.
Because this is kind of relevant, like what current, because a lot of other debate topics, yeah, they relevant, but it's more so for your soul and spiritual purposes. This stuff is things that's affecting us in real time that we probably do need to be more aware of, the history of how we got here and what we could possibly do moving forward. So it's deeper than just a debate once you get into certain topics and subjects. So I like the direction it's going.
Big facts, big facts. The same question for you, Ildot. Is there a debate you judged that really stuck with you, and why?
Yeah, the A00 debate. I don't think residue from that debate's ever going to wash off. and the reason why I hinted at when we were doing the review is I worked hard to how do you say to make a decision speech that wasn't offensive or it wasn't targeting him, but I didn't want to penalize Yaya with my speech. Like I had to point out some stuff that was wrong, but I was so far away from what they both did. Like both of them had so many places where they could improve. There were so many opportunities on both sides that I wasn't. I was like, no way am I gonna mention every single thing. I'll be talking forever and forever and forever. So I did the most generous. I approached it the most generous way I could for two men who I don't know, but also not cheat the other one and not cheat you and not cheat the platform who trusted me to judge it honestly and with no bias. So I think I found a sweet spot, and then for there to be an issue, the fact, man, just I was like, this is not happening. So I think that whole, and then with the judge review and how that unfolded, um, that's going to be with me for a while. Like, it's going to be. I'm not going to brush that off my shoulder for a while.
We definitely threw you in the fire, and you see how hot it gets in there sometimes here at the Coliseum.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was a. Can I just add one thing from this last debate with Pan
Of
and
course, of
Anu?
course.
Okay, there was one point in the debate when I told you as I go along, I argue against each debater, and I also argue with each debater against the other one. It's like a whole bunch of arguing going on. I came up with the idea as the affirmative to bring up, try this strategy. While, like, I'm expecting, if I were in that position, I'd argue this. Yeah, reform is right. Um, but the reform will be to eliminate the accountability gap that the DeShaney Supreme Court case creates. There's a cluster of cases that create the no duty to protect doctrine, and the FOP they live in that gap where qualified immunity plays a role. There's a law enforcement officer bill of rights that no one really talks about, and it exists state level, but it increases, it elevates the type of citizen that police officers are, and it protects them from prosecution, separate and independent from the qualified immunity. So I was thinking, if I was arguing this, I would introduce reform that targets those places. And one of them was the DeShaney case, the no duty to protect doctrine. And I was surprised, I was floored when Pan was the one who brought it up
Mm.
at the end of the question and answer round. I was like, holy shit, what's Anu going to do now? Because that's the key. That's the bridge right there. He brought it up. You can take that and make a bridge to your accountability, but it really was too late.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget how shocked I was and impressed I was that Pan used that. That was really a courageous thing to do, and the timing of it was incredible. Like right at the end of the round, and I think that I like to think that the time unfolded in that way randomly. But when you think about who Pan is, you can't help but think that he had something to do with how the clock was ticking that day, because that question was answered perfectly right at the bell.
Mm.
But it was actually a question that Anu could have taken and presented, said, well, that actually makes it worse. The fact that they aren't obligated to protect us makes it worse, not better. That gives me more reason to disband them. So I was expecting Anu to bring it up. I certainly would have brought it up. I wouldn't have waited to Q&A for it. I wouldn't have waited for Pan to bring it up. I'll never forget that though.
Hey, appreciate that answer. That's a good one. Last question for you, gentlemen. If you wait, let me start over. If you could change one thing about modern debate culture, what would it be? And we'll start with Il Doc again on this
I'm going to say be more receptive to new ideas. And I know the culture is sort of driven by uh, disagreements that develop in back chat, or I mean, at least that's my experience so far. And they develop in other places, maybe other debate spaces. Every now and then, rather than having like walking around with a defense for the things that you believe, try to take the position that I'm going to try and sell this to people and try to sell it to people when it doesn't matter in terms of your debate record, like in the back chat. Instead of these clouds of I'm defending Yahweh and I'm defending the Messiah and everyone really knows what your deal is. If you're a Muslim, try to defend something that's not Islam and see how that goes. And and everyone should know if you're known as a Muslim and you're defending or trying to sell something that isn't traditionally Islamic, everyone in that particular back chat or the community or however you communicate, they'll know what you're doing. And so just experiment a little bit. And you'll develop devices like real time devices and strategies on how to structure your argument that will pay off when you're trying to defend something you truly believe.
I love that answer. Good answer. Same question for you, Chef Darius. If you could change one thing about modern debate culture, what would it be?
I like his answer. I think I would change the topics to make them more modern. Actually, I feel like we get in there. We do have some things we debate that are modern and are like currently relevant. But the religion still has a hold and the history thing. So those are important and they are easier to debate because there's so much information. And that's usually what people are grouped in. They're just going to choose to argue and debate whatever group they come from. But I think we need to get a little bit more up to date with the topics. That's the only thing I would change. And I feel like it's getting there. It's getting there.
Hey, shout out Titans Debate League. We are doing our best over here, and we're going to continue to try to keep picking topics to keep the fans on the edge of their seats. So, definitely want to shout out you two gentlemen. Actually, let's go around and get closing remarks. Then I'll close out last. We'll start with you, Ill Doc. Actually, we'll start with Chef Darius again, then we'll end with Ill Doc.
Just want to say I appreciate everybody in the audience. Titans Debate Leagues, all the debaters involved. You Ill Dot, great show tonight. I think we gave them a lot to ponder on and look forward to as far as these debates, what they can bring to the stage. And let's get it.
Hey, Ill Doc, it's on you.
I'm going to mirror that. I'm happy to have met Chef tonight. It was a pleasure to judge alongside him, and I want to say thank you to the young lady who introduced me initially to this community, Morphine, and all the ladies that just been around and made being here comfortable, and the fellas for not running me off when they first encountered me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in this position. And I certainly appreciate everything that you've done, A1, to build this platform and all the people who helped you build it and the people who are in the community that keep coming back to listen to the debate and even all the debaters. Thank you all very much.
Oh, I wasn't rushing you with the applause. Go ahead and finish. Go ahead. And
Oh,
finish.
I didn't hear applause.
Oh, okay.
I'm done. I'm going to do, I wish peace, love, and respect to everybody. Amen.
Hey, I appreciate that. And that's going to be a wrap for this episode. This is Coliseum of Arguments, Titans Debate League. And this was the first judges interview that we've had. We had Ill Doc and we had Ill Doctor and Chef Darius here tonight. Major respect for these two for coming through, sharing their journey, breaking down their path, giving us real insight into what it means to sit in the judge's seat. These are the perspectives that shape the culture of this league and keep the standard where it needs to be. This wasn't about the headlines tonight or the hot takes. This was about experience, accountability, and growth. If you're a debater watching this, take notes. If you're a fan, now you know what goes into those decisions when the cameras are off and the mics are hot. Make sure you like this, subscribe, and share this episode. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let us know what questions you want answered next time, because we are going to do this again. We still have some judges who haven't been interviewed. And let us know which judges or debaters you want to hear from. More debates, more breakdowns, more truth. Until next time, I'm A1, your host, platform owner, and this is Coliseum of Arguments Titans Debate League. And we'll see you at the next battle. We're going to end with the song Same Heart by Connie Son. I usually play him on Spotify, but you can check him out on all platforms. Go ahead on over to Facebook and drop a line on something and tell him A1 sent you. Again, this is Same Heart by Connie Son. And you guys have a beautiful night. Oh, yeah, and I can't forget my motto. Treat your smile like your money and never let them steal it. I can't find the song. Hold up.
Black Power.
Black Power.
So somebody tell Suave I got that in.
Black Power.
Suave's going to be happy about that. Here we go. Same Heart by Connie Son.
Down for whatever, how the hell did we just fall apart? You was my brother, know that I love you. I would've gave you my own heart, and I would've never honing it level. Think about letting that thing spark, knowing that we got the same heart. It's crazy we ain't got the same heart, and they the one taking the aim for it, and I'm the one taking the blame for it. They ain't got no shame in the game for it, till I come back around with that pain for it. You gon' pay for the time you was hating, you gon' pay for the time you was dirty macking, you gon' pay for the time that you hit on women, you pay for the time that you flipped on family. Karma gon' come your way, young nigga. It can be any day, young nigga. The way that you played your hand, I forgive you, but back in that sandbox, can't forget you. Killing my mentor, tell your little brother the issue. How did we go to them pistols? Know I'm official, know that I try to uplift you. Kinda knowing that I miss him. We was together, down for whatever. How the hell did we just fall apart? You was my brother, know that I love you. I would've gave you my own heart, and I would've never honed in the level. Think about letting that thing spark, knowing that we got the same heart. It's crazy we ain't got the same heart, and I'm the one taking the blame for it, and they the one taking the aim for it. They ain't got no shame in the game for it, till I come back around with that pain for it. You gon' pay for the time you was hating, you gon' pay for the time you was dirty macking, you gon' pay for the time that you hit on women, you pay for the time that you flipped on family. One more hate, it really ain't gon' matter. More pale lips, just me, more chatter. Can't hold hands going up no ladder. I fall from up here, then my shit gon' shatter. I'm putting on for my whole family, but we on a different road, family. You told folk that I told family, but I never did fold when the folks had me 100. I never been fake in front. I told younger nigga make him something, you told younger nigga take him something, and he the one that took that from his cousin, and that there got the whole family fussing. Got big sis beefing with her brother, even through it all still know that I love you, but every second I think I trust you. I'm dead, I'm smart in the game, you made it hard in the game. I'm loving, I started the lane, I'm hard as they came. Melody target they brain and they drawn like a martyr with flame. How far I done came, you was not part of the blame, you was just part of the strain. You was so grimy that niggas ain't wanna come fuck with me, but that's just part of it. And I'm the one taking the blame for it, they the one taking the aim for it. They ain't got no shame in the game for it, till I come back around with that pain for it. You gon' pay for the time you was hating, you gon' pay for the time you was dirty macking, you gon' pay for the time that you hit on women, you pay for the time that you flipped on family. We was together, down for whatever. How the hell did we just fall apart? You was my brother, know that I love you. I would've gave you my own heart, and I would've never honed in the level. Think about letting that thing spark, knowing that we got the same heart. It's crazy we ain't got the same heart.